Hello, everyone, and welcome to day 2 of Adobe Live. My name is James Bonanno, and I am joined once again by Camila Santander. Camila, welcome to day 2.
Hello, James. Hello, everyone.
Hello, everyone in the chat, Richard and gang, Voodoo Val. Hello, everyone. It's always a pleasure to get everyone on here and start asking some questions as we head into day 2 of our TikTok premiere expose, if you will. Before we get started, Camila, I do want to just hop into a couple housekeeping items. So if you missed the previous stream, you can view the replay on Behance or YouTube. So if you're on Behance right now, make sure to come join the chat. Check out the replay of day 1 of designing a custom book cover with Casey Moses. Check out the creative encores of the Illustrator Creative Challenges with Julia Vaca every weekday at 11:30 a.m. Pacific, right before this stream. And stay tuned. Stay tuned for the rest of the stream today. That's all I got for you. So once again, thank you to those joining us. Hello, Richard. Welcome to the stream. And Camila, I know we went over a lot yesterday. For those that did not join us, maybe you can sort of just start with a little bit of an intro to who you are and what you're going to be doing for us today and kind of how you got into the whole TikTok editing, filmmaking world.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. So I'm going to kind of introduce myself. I am Camila. I am originally from Bolivia. I live in New York City. And I create TikToks on which I teach Premiere Pro, and I also talk about productivity. I want to start diving into mental health and kind of like getting out of my comfort zone, so you can find my links here. I also do YouTube videos in Spanish, and I have my Instagram, which is public, but not really, I don't do much there. But if you want to connect with me, definitely shoot me a DM or follow me there, and I'm very responsive there. I also, if you want to see my academic or other type of work, you can go into my website. I have all my work here. So that's kind of that's all about me. And I started TikTok because I wanted to show people. I learned a lot about Premiere, which I share with some friends they didn't know. So I thought that maybe it'd be cool to share this with TikTok and see and help more people and kind of create a community of creative, like-minded people. So that's kind of what made me start this account, and I'm really happy and grateful. Yeah.
I love that. I meant to actually ask you yesterday because we didn't really get into your TikTok a little bit. I know you were obviously creating this video for TikTok, but do you have one video on your page that sort of went, I guess, the most viral for you, that had the most views, that you felt, okay, this is something that I can continue to do more and more?
Yes, so I do have one. I had 500,000 views.
Wow.
I don't know where it is now, but it had a lot of views, and it's about automating your music to your videos. So when you press markers, and then you put all the videos or images, it was really fun to do, and I always use that. I thought it was really helpful, and honestly, I really enjoyed that. I really enjoyed that video, and I guess that really reflected on the views I got. Same thing with YouTube. The video that performed the best was the video that I really enjoy creating. So I guess that energy and just the effort you put into something really translate into how people are going to react to it.
That's really great to hear too. I feel like so many times we hear that the videos that perform well are the ones that have the best thumbnail, or the ones that are the most clickbaity. And although they do apply, it's nice to hear that the videos that did well for you were the ones that you were actually passionate about creating. So exactly. I think that's a really nice, a breath of fresh air for those of us who still enjoy making videos, not if it's just clickbaity. And very, very cool that you have so many videos on here. So again, for those that are in the chat, make sure to check out Camila's work on TikTok, on the socials, Instagram, all that jazz. And if you're still with us and continuing the next 2 hours, let's just hop right into Premiere. Camila, I know yesterday, for those, again, that did not join us, make sure to go watch day 1 on YouTube, because you can get caught up on what Camila did. But I think you're going to hop in and sort of finish a few finishing touches and get into some more details. And then maybe the second half hop into another video, correct?
Correct. That's what we're doing today.
Very cool.
So yesterday we finished this video. We kind of edited everything that I had. So this video is about a day by myself in New York City. I wanted to create this video because I usually don't do stuff out by myself unless it's an errand, but I don't enjoy time by myself, and that's really something I need to start doing. So I thought might as well film it and edit it for everyone to see. And here it is. So originally we edited 3 minutes and a half, but the top time for TikTok is 3 minutes. So I well, yesterday you probably missed this because I did it by myself, but I kind of shrank the whole video. So I'm gonna show you what I did to shrink it. First, I just removed everything that I thought was not necessary for me to say to the camera. There's a lot of talking here, so I thought that if it's not like really relevant, so I'm just gonna remove that. For example, I say that I read Harry Potter, or I'm reading Harry Potter like 10 times, but that's not, like, we just need it once. So
Right.
we remove all those. And then I did some like little like small tricks here and there. For example, one thing I did, you can see here that I start talking before the video finishes. So when we play this, so I just got my food. It's like very minor, but it does save a little bit of time. And more than the time, I think it really makes the video very like nicely. I'm sure you have something to add about this, James, about like just putting audio before you put the video.
Oh, absolutely. I'm really glad that you brought that up and that you kind of went back and added that. I think the professional term would be considered an L cut, and I think that's such a useful way to edit videos, because not only does it save you time, but it also sort of gives the viewer a little bit of insight, even if it's only a second or two, of like what's coming next, so that they can associate, oh, I hear this and this is then what I'm going to see. So I think it serves a multitude of purposes, and it doesn't feel so, rigid, where you're just cutting on the audio and video line every time. So yeah, I'm really glad that you did that.
Perfect. Thanks for explaining that, definitely. And I did it a couple more times, like here. I decided to sit here. So what I did with this clip, it was a little bit shaky. Someone asked yesterday, how do we stabilize the footage? So we use a filter wrap stabilizer, but what I did first, because the size of my videos were bigger than the actual screen, I had to like make them smaller to fit. I nested this sequence. I don't know what nesting does. Maybe you could explain us. But nesting is really a lifesaver because it makes everything easier to use. And I just add the stabilizer to 15%. I don't like to overdo it because it starts looking deformed, but you can see now it's very stable. I decided to sit here.
That looks great. Yeah, and it's a quick clip too. And yeah, I think in some cases, excuse me, in some cases you don't have to actually nest the clip, but what we were seeing yesterday and some of those issues we ran into is, I don't know, nesting the clips are really handy in those situations, but they're also really nice to just keep things organized. So if your timeline all of a sudden starts to get out of control and you have 10, 15 layers, nesting those together in sort of groups just keeps you a little more organized as well. So, and for those that are, brand new to Premiere and don't know what, or how to nest a sequence, can you show us how you, or maybe pick another clip and show us how you would nest it?
Yes, definitely. Let's choose this one. To nest, you just right click, nest, and click OK. You can name it if you want, and it does it for yourself. That's it.
Super easy.
And something I found out that I thought was super cool, let's just nest this just for fun, and you'll see. So we nest something, and let's say like you did this and then you want to change it, you can double click your nest and it's going to open, and then you can edit everything and it's going to go back and edit it on the video. So I thought that was really cool to know, because I found out really like very recently and it really changed my life.
It's great. Yeah. It sort of functions in the same way that Adobe After Effects functions too. So there's a nesting program or a nesting tool. It's called a pre-composition, and that's essentially the exact same thing in Premiere. So it allows you to, group all these clips together. Let's say you have a few scenes that you want to focus on. You can work in scenes and then nest everything at the end. So it does help. So that's a really nice tool to have, a nice feature of Premiere.
Yes, definitely. Okay, so maybe I can show you now. Well, I did add captions. I can show you how I did add captions, and then we can edit them together. So I wanted to add them beforehand because I thought it was going to kind of mess up because of the noise and also my accent, but apparently Premiere Pro is really good at detecting people's like what they're saying, so it didn't have to correct much, but I already did it, so I'm just going to show you how you do it. So you go to here and captions and graphics, and then you have here transcript. So, well, now it's done, but you put I think it's here, it says like create transcript here on the screen, and you put create transcript. Should we show it with something else?
Yeah, maybe just like pull a clip in to
The
a
video
new
from
sequence.
yesterday.
Yeah, and just so we can see it actually.
Yes. That would be good. Okay, so here's me talking. This is what we started yesterday, and it's the same video actually. We're not missing much. So when you come to captions and graphics, you click here on text, and you have something that says transcript. You click on create transcript, and if you have different tracks and different like audios in different tracks, you can always choose it. But now I just have it on audio 1, so it doesn't really matter. And if recognize when different people are speaking, you can click that if you have more than one person. And they also have different languages, which I thought was really cool.
Oh, cool. I didn't know that. I didn't know that recognize when different people are speaking seems really useful as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes, definitely. And well, yeah, so now you can transcribe point in and out if you just want to do one part, but we're not doing any of that, but you know what you have here. And transcribe. That takes a little bit of time. It just does it by itself.
Well, the benefits of captioning too, just for, I mean, think about how many times you're watching a video on Facebook or on YouTube or on TikTok, where you're not really listening to it. Your attention is grabbed by maybe the captions across the screen. And so it is sort of a deal breaker now. Like every video I feel like should have captions at least enabled or embedded into the video, right? Like, what are your thoughts on that for TikTok?
Yeah, definitely. I think that also for accessibility purposes, it's nice that everyone can access what is being said in the video. And also, I think that from a more creative standpoint, you can make it look very aesthetic. And in my case, because I filmed outside, a lot of you can hear a lot of noise in the background. So just to kind of make sure people are gonna know what you're saying, you can put the captions there as well. That was the reason why I put them here. I really wanted people to hear or to see what I was saying, because I thought that in some parts you couldn't really understand it. So there's many reasons to put captions, but definitely something that should be done.
Awesome.
Mm-hmm. And well, yeah, so now that you have it, it's created it for me. You can always correct it, but I like to correct it after you create the captions, because before I corrected it here, before I put them, and it kind of messes up the timing. So create captions, and then here you can choose any of this. I don't really know what this means, but if you have a style saved, but I'm gonna show you how to do that after, you can always choose the style. So if you're working for clients or something, you have a specific style of captioning, you could just save that, and instead of having to change everything when you have to edit them, you can just choose a style, and it's gonna use that style. So now you kind of move this around. I really like what they have here. Set is always going to be 4230.
Okay.
So I usually just leave it. So we can just leave it like that.
And so is that with double rather than single? This is this is the default usually in Premiere, but is this what you feel is the most useful for social media, for TikTok, that kind of layout?
Yeah, it's the one I like the most too. I usually just use that. I feel maybe it's a little bit longer here, so I would maybe for TikTok you want to make them shorter, but because the letters can get smaller and hard to read. So, but I really like it in general, just how it is. But I think for the one I did on here, we can go back to this one now that I showed you. I did use other settings. I did make them smaller. I think I did put one single line. Anyway, so let's create the captions. Let's edit the captions. So I like to select them all, because if you don't select them all, it's just gonna change the one you're working on. And here you have the panel to edit them. So I like to go somewhere where I feel there's kind of a lot of text to make sure it's gonna look good. So there you go. Okay. And first, because it's TikTok, you don't want to put them down here, because as you know, there's controls and things here. The caption I think goes here, and the hashtags and all that. So you can always move this. Okay, that's not it. You can always move this one. There you go. You can make them higher, and I guess it doesn't matter if it goes a little bit higher.
yeah, I guess the worst would be if it gets cut off and you go to publish
Exactly.
it and then have to come in. I mean, luckily it's easy enough to come in and change it, but to be able
Yes.
to have it as accessible as possible.
Exactly, definitely. And I thought that it would be nice to have them a little bit like bigger. So I just gonna click one by one. And let's see, what do you think is a good size? That I think that's too much, right? Maybe this?
Yeah, I think probably that. And then I would, since that one has probably the most words on it, just making sure that each one is on its own line. I'd say like 55, 56 looks pretty good.
Yeah, I like 2 lines, but not 3. Like that's overdoing it.
Yeah, we go back to the rule of 3 yesterday. Like for some reason, the rule of 3 works in a lot of cases, but with design and text, it's like captions need to be 1 or 2 lines. I mean, like people can prove me wrong, but I just feel like it looks a little weird once it starts going into 3 lines.
Yeah, it feels like forced. I feel like you're right. And then you can always like customize if you want to have a stroke. If you want to have a stroke, don't have a stroke.
I was just gonna I was gonna make the dad joke, but you did it perfectly.
Oh, okay. Well, I think someone asked yesterday what like to make the letters like similar to the ones on TikTok. So I like to use Proxima Nova, I think. Yeah, this one is the one I like the most. But you use semi-bold, I think.
That's basically like the default font on TikTok. So people try to match that so it looks like it was almost built in TikTok.
Exactly.
Gotcha. Okay.
So that's the one I think it looks like the most similar to TikTok, but you can always prove me wrong, of course. I'm not an expert, but I think it's the one. And you can always up your stroke a little bit so it looks more similar, even like this. I think that looks pretty good, actually. That looks like TikTok.
Very, very TikTok-y.
And then you want to click here, graphics and property, and drawing a velvet. I think I put this one. And I think that makes it like good. I don't know what that does, but I know that makes a difference. But so if you see here, it looks like I put the captions on TikTok, which if that's what you're going for, maybe we'll leave it like that. That's something you can do. And if you want to save this here on track style, well, now you don't have to select them all. You can just select one. And here on track style, you can create style, and you can put like TikTok captions. So if you're editing more videos, you can always use that style to make your captions. So maybe we can do it here.
So it's like a little preset for your captions.
Exactly.
So
create captions, style, and it's here. See, TikTok.
Awesome.
So now I was gonna create captions like the ones on TikTok with the settings that I had before.
Very cool.
So here you can just edit this so it's not 2 lines. Make them smaller. Like you can just work that.
Yeah.
But I thought that would be something cool to show.
Oh my God. It's so like, I still get blown away by the caption editor and just the generator in Premiere, because for years, like early editing days, most people just had to, I mean, not that it was like the longest thing, but to put captions in manually most of the time was a huge pain. So this just makes it a little even more fun to do now. You can really have fun with creating that style, creating the look you want. And especially for TikTok, for someone like you who's posting on there fairly often, it's nice to just have, a few set styles you can slap on there and get, get the video published and get on to the next one.
Yeah, definitely. It really does make your life easier. And I think that's what I really like about Premiere. It's always updating to like make sure that they're giving us what we want. If we need something, they're going to give it to us.
Yeah.
And that's really cool. I really enjoy that about Premiere. They're always updating the app or the program to make it better.
I agree.
Anyway, so here I'm just gonna check all of them and make sure, like, for example, this is 3 lines. I'm just gonna make this a little bit bigger. Yep. To make sure everything is 2 lines instead of 3, because I don't like 3 lines like we talked.
Well, while people are in the chat, I don't know who was here and who joined us yesterday, but speaking of Premiere with updates, I had mentioned to Camila about potentially having some sort of like title safe for TikTok and for Instagram in like 9:16. And I don't know if anyone's in the chat that knows whether that exists already, or if there's any engineers joining us today and want to try to work on that, or if that's in the works, I think that would be a super helpful tool for editors that are just editing natively for TikTok and Reels and YouTube Shorts as well.
Yeah, and I think that it would, like, the same thing would work for Instagram, Reels, TikTok, and YouTube Shorts, because they're all kind of like the same way of how they're customized. You always have the captions down here and the like and things, comments on this side, so it would work for all of them.
Yeah, and I think they're all the same size. Every one of those videos is 9:16. So at this point, it would be pretty easy to slap that overlay. And again, it's probably easy to customize it, but while we're in Premiere, it just saves us time to not have to go somewhere else and look for it.
Definitely. So we finished the captions now, and I just wanted to show what I did with sound. And I thought that this was a really cool little synchronicity that, oh my God, don't crash. Okay, sorry.
How many times just cross our fingers?
You know, like that little color round thing that you see, and oh my God, that really gets me every time.
The spinning wheel of death.
Yes, for real. But okay, so the song, it kind of ended exactly what I kind of was finishing, so I decided to play it a little bit more. Like, just let it finish.
Cool. And that what a nice little ending.
Yes, and I thought it was so cool that it was the exact, like, almost exact timing of my video.
That was the full length of the track too. Like, you didn't even have to cut anything out, which is nice.
That was just me getting lucky. I love the universe giving me nice little things like that.
I agree. There are sometimes just, you know, the more you edit, the more you do it, you do end up getting lucky. And there's these happy little accidents that happen, like a Bob Ross painting, just the happy little brushes. Any Bob Ross fans in the chat? But yeah, it's always nice to get lucky and get a song where you're just like, yes, I nailed it.
Yeah, it was perfect. Like, it really was a happy little accident. And I think this was not the song we chose yesterday. Then I realized, but I was like,
Gotcha.
I mean, if this one works, we'll use this one. Okay, so we decided to go with color next. So that's now that we finished doing the sequence, the talking videos, B-roll, locations. I put the icons here, like you can see. We made them kind of pop or blop, we didn't know that.
Blop or pop.
Yes, but we did that for all the locations. We added the music, and we made the music lower in the parts where I'm talking. You can see here the time, how do you call it? Frames? No.
Like little keyframes or like points? Keyframes, yes. So we did little keyframes for every time I would talk. It would go like lower, and now we're moving into color. So I thought that the video itself, like the color is not bad, but I wanted to make it look a little bit happier, I guess, a little bit more, how do you say this? Just like more vibrant maybe, or more, more vivid?
Yes, vibrant, definitely.
Cool. Okay.
So move into color, and oh my goodness. Okay, I have to save every 5 seconds, so please remind me.
That's okay.
So we don't lose anything.
I'll just like sneak into the microphone. Command S. Command S.
Command S. Yeah. So that's something. Like, I guess that's something for the people who don't know this. Instead of going to File, Save, you can always Command S. That's how you save. It just saves it for you. I
have a little sticker. I have 2 stickers on my computer. One is Command Z and the other is Command S. And they're like the only stickers I have, because this is what I live my life by. Just saving all the time and undo the stuff that didn't work.
Undo and redo.
Undo and redo.
Yes. Command C. If we had that for life, imagine how good it would be. Okay.
Oh, I know.
So usually I don't overdo color. I have worked with different cameras. Some of them you do need to like do the color from scratch, but because I'm filming on an iPhone, the color is already pretty nice and realistic, but we're gonna do a little bit of change it here. So let's see, I usually like to make this warmer. We're getting into the summer months, so I feel it fits. As saturation, I don't talk, and you'll see here that I really don't do much for color, but I feel like it makes a difference but it's not like overdoing it. But I guess whatever your style is, that works.
Well,
So
and I have a quick question for you in terms of your style with color grading. Do you tend to just color grade on each clip, or do you use adjustment layers? Like, what's your process typically look like?
So I usually like to go to each clip and color grade it. Well, first do a small color correction to make sure everything fits with with everything. But for example, here I'm not gonna go and do all these changes here and then on this one because it's kind of the same thing. I think I'm gonna go and you'll see. I'm gonna kind of copy
Cool.
what I do, the lumetri colors to all the videos. So I'm doing that, and I guess I don't like putting an adjustment layer and putting that for the whole video. Especially I feel like, for example, this has been filmed in different locations at different times. I don't think it really works, but I guess that if you're making something that is more like stable or like filming just one thing, I guess it works with that. So it really depends on your style. What do you think?
No, I think that's a great point. I think there's no like right or wrong way. I'm curious to see those in the chat that feel differently, but I think like if you're shooting interviews or if you're shooting again one big scene that the color is all very similar, or the light doesn't change that much, I tend to then use an adjustment layer and I just maybe tweak that. But then you are adding other layers on top of your stack. So it really just depends, again, like you said, Camila, just sort of preference.
And so my whole thing here is making the highlights, the whites, like brighter, and making the shadows and the blacks darker. So that's all I kind of do here. That's like how I feel it makes it pop a little bit more without overdoing it. So I do the basic correction and then I just move to curves and I do my curves. I love my curves. I feel like you can't go wrong with curves. So I make this go a little bit higher, not too much. And then here I create the small S. Is that something that you like learn in film, like the S?
Yeah, the S curve is, I feel like the S curve, I'm going to try to make this like analogy or comparison. The S curve is sort of like taxes. Like you never get taught taxes in school, but it's something that's very important to know. And then you learn it as you get older and you have to pay taxes. I kind of feel like the S curve is the equivalent of that, because it's not really something we went over a ton, even in like a color grading class, but it's mentioned and then you sort of figure it out on your own, and it can be very intimidating if you don't do it. But once you start using it, it can be really, really powerful, like you said. And I think it's very easy to go overboard with an S curve, but essentially all you're doing is you're just giving yourself a lot more specific like functionalities of contrast, highlights, and shadows. So it's a lot more detailed than the basic correction that you have at the top there.
Exactly. And I really like the S curve because sometimes if you have something overexposed, you can always like tweak that on the S curve in a better way than you will be able to on basic corrections, for example. That's why they're basic. Then, well, we have my lumetri color here. You can see that it looks a little bit different. And now I feel like, that's my opinion, that this one looks a lot better and happier than this one without the colors. Although this looked good at first, but not anymore because it
tricks our eye. All of a sudden we're like, how did that look so desaturated and not vibrant? And all of a sudden I put this color grade on it and it just comes to life.
Exactly. And I guess this is something on TikTok that I realized. I feel like the difference between like the really good videos that like really catch your attention and the ones that are could be the same thing, but I feel like the color makes it a lot more interesting to watch. So like don't neglect color, I would say, on TikTok. Although it may seem like, oh, I already filmed this with my phone camera. If you can tweak the colors a little bit, always do that because it does make a difference in my opinion.
Absolutely. And now do you, even just for TikTok, do you usually reference the lumetri scopes, or do you just go based on sort of preference of what you think looks good?
I guess I would just go for preference. I guess usually if I'm gonna do color on Premiere, I'm gonna use the lumetri, but if I just film in like a TikTok tutorial, I'm just gonna do the fastest thing to do.
Gotcha.
I guess also like something to like keep in mind on TikTok, if you wanna start editing videos for that. You don't have to overdo every video. Like, it's cool if you like put effort in all of your videos, but if your goal is to make a lot of videos, just make them. Don't worry about like anything. Like, don't worry about how you look, like color, how you sound, and then you start creating a lot, and then I guess it's easier to just keep going. Don't overthink it, especially for TikTok.
Yeah, I think that's a good point too. And I mean, it's kind of like a balance. You want to build good habits when you start creating these videos, but it is TikTok, it is Instagram. It's a little less refined than, a motion picture or some, huge documentary or something. So it's great to learn those skills and those techniques. But I think if you're looking to create those things more often, you don't have to get so hung up on the color. I did want to point out one little tab here while we're on the topic of color. And I know you said you don't really use it, but I think it's good to point out. So if you see where it's the effects controls panel is up there to the left, right next to that where it says lumetri scopes.
Here.
Nope. Up to right next to where it says effect controls. So the actual word, you were on it before.
This?
Yeah, lumetri scopes. So that would actually load. I think it takes a couple seconds, but that loads and gives you the actual histogram of each clip. So if you clip, like, then you can see whether like you have a highlight that's clipping or you have a shadow or a black that's being crushed. So that's what I mean by the scopes. It's really, I think it's nice to reference that if you're out in somewhere where it's really bright and you want to make sure that you're not totally blowing the highlights out. You know what I mean?
Yes. Actually, I think that's a really good point. I don't know why it's not loading now, but I guess like for more professional editing, you can always reference that. And it's really interesting. I learned that, but it got a little bit overwhelming, to be honest. I never wanted to touch more on that, but it was really helpful. It is super helpful.
Yeah, there's some ways to simplify it too, so it doesn't seem like you don't have to have every RGB channel. It's not like the way I like to put it up there is more just for brightness, so I can just see, okay, like I have like 3 little tabs, and then you can customize it so it doesn't feel so overwhelming. But again, like total preference of how people tend to do it. But for those that are looking to edit, color in maybe a more professional manner, it is really helpful to reference those scopes.
Yes, totally. And I really hope it would load so we can show it, but it apparently doesn't want to.
Click on another clip. Sometimes if you click on one clip, so click on another clip, and then maybe it'll load. If not,
there you go.
There you go.
Yes.
Sometimes it takes a minute. So you can see so where there's 100 at the top and then you have 0 at the bottom. So basically that 0 is your black and then that 100 is your white or your highlight. So anything with that line means that all the detail that's up there is being lost if it's crushed. And in this case, you're just in your bedroom. So it's probably some of those highlights in the back. And then maybe my guess would be that 0 at the bottom, like the really dark black shadow around your sweatshirt there is probably what's losing some of that detail. So if you really needed to be specific, then you would kind of look at those. And if you pulled these adjustments up, you can kind of see how they change. So just an interesting point to let everyone know that does exist for color as well.
Yes, and let's see, if we put more whites, you'll see that all the whites are starting to go up.
Yep.
And the color is getting lost. And same thing with the blacks. I think that what I understood here that really helped me understand this, because it can look very confusing. It really isn't. Just this part here, if this is it has a lot of information here, means that it's oversaturated. And if you have a lot of information down here, it means that it's super dark. So you kind of want to keep a good balance. That's how I understood it.
Yep. And so see that little wrench where it says clamp signal below your scopes there? There's a little, so click that wrench to the left.
Yes.
Nope, the other one. Left of that little, click that. And so you'll see that if you go to waveform type, there's an arrow. We're getting a little detailed, but this will hopefully simplify things. And you can go to YC no chroma and click that. Okay, and so now what this is doing, so this is the way I like to look at it because it does simplify it for you, is this is just showing you brightness. This isn't showing you any of the color, so it looks a little less intimidating. And so just when you look at it, 100 is that high highlight and white, 0 is the harsh black, and you just want to stay somewhere in the middle. So most of the times you won't really need that, but it is, again, it's kind of there as a good reference point.
Yes, an amazing tool to have here.
Absolutely.
Okay,
And then
so,
and then you can add and like play around with that and customize different windows, but that's for maybe another time.
yes, there's more to this than
There
just
is more.
this, but I guess like the more you get into whatever type of videos you're editing, the more you're gonna start like looking at what things work for you best.
Right.
But this is amazing. Yes, I really, I should learn more of this. It doesn't look as intimidating now.
Sometimes all you need is someone to explain it. I feel like when I'm intimidated by something and someone explains it to me in a way that I get it, I'm like, oh, duh. Like it's actually fairly simple in theory, but if you look at something visually, it's like, oh, I'm scared. I don't want to use that. So
yes, it really does look scary.
I totally get it. I totally get it.
Looks like a Dementor from Harry Potter.
We're just gonna funnel Harry Potter references into both these streams. I think we got like probably 10 of them in there yesterday.
Oh my god, we love Harry Potter. I mean, I love Harry Potter. I really hope everyone does too. Okay, so effect controls, we did our lumetri color here, and like you see, like it does look different from the other clips. But what I like to do, so this whole, like all of these purple videos here are introduction. The same video just cut, because I was doing a lot of just talking a lot that wasn't needed to be said. I didn't need to say that, so but it's the same video. So what I do here is click on my lumetri, and you can always copy and paste, but what I like to do, I don't know how good it is to do this, you can tell me, but I basically Command X, so I erase it. I go to the source, which is the original video, I Command V, and that's gonna paste it to all the other videos.
That's a great way.
If you use it, you go back and you wanna use it for, you wanna use the same video, like the original one, that's gonna have the color with it already. So I thought that was pretty neat.
So if you wanted to go in and then edit the color, do you just double click on that clip and then it opens up in the source? Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, so you're always gonna have your source here. That's the source. So if you do any editing on the source, it's kind of like the original video. So if you want to go back to editing that, you can always click on the source, and that's it. We have the lumetri there.
Very cool.
And if I make any changes here to the source, it's gonna change it into all the videos, not just, I mean, all the videos for that clip.
Awesome.
Not just the one I'm changing. So I thought that was pretty nice.
Yeah, and that's nice because then you don't have an adjustment layer clouding the timeline a little more than you need to. So that's a great way to use that source file. And again, like we said earlier today and yesterday, like there's a ton of different ways to do the same thing in Adobe Premiere, and I think that's what's so great about the program is everyone has a preference of how they choose to do it. So that's really cool.
Yes, definitely. And well, I guess while we chat, I'm gonna start doing a little bit of color here, but I'm doing basically the same thing to all the clips, just putting the highlights a little bit higher, shadows a little bit lower, and my curves. I love my curves.
Gotta love the curves.
Yes. There you go. So, I recently got a mouse and a keyboard to work with, and also a screen, like a display, but I used to always work with my computer. I'm so used to not using a mouse, but I think like it makes it easier once you get like used to that.
Oh yeah, it's a huge adjustment, but a really good one. And I feel like when I'm not home at my desk and I have to use my laptop again, and I'm like, oh man, I don't want to use the trackpad. I'm so used to the mouse, and you have a bit of a workflow. So
yeah, definitely. I'm getting used to the mouse now. But anyway, so here I just did the colors to this one. I have the colors, and because it's kind of the same clip over here, like to all of this, I'm just gonna paste it to all of this. Because these were like filmed, these are different videos, I couldn't do the source thing because it's not the same thing.
Right,
but
gotcha.
Just something to know. And what I'm thinking now is that I really didn't do much of color correction, and I feel like because it's so minor, it might work for all of them. So I'm thinking of just going and pasting the same lumetri to everything and just checking if it worked for everything. What do you think?
Sure, yeah. I think if you're going to do that, like either way, you paste it to the clips or throw an adjustment layer on top. But I think do that, and then kind of you can go clip by clip. I think it's cool to bring up the comparison view, which I don't know if you use that at all, but
Mm-hmm.
that's a cool tool to show, keeping things sort of the same
Concise.
style. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're right. I think that, well, now that you say that, that's really cool. We can maybe, I'm thinking that this, it might be a little bit darker compared to this, but I think it works actually. Let's just keep it like that. What do you think? Actually, it works. I think
Yeah,
the walls are
yeah.
kind of the same color. But we can keep this here, myself, and then we're gonna edit the rest and see if it works. And so let's keep doing this, yes. I'm just gonna paste it to all the clips, like I said.
That's usually the mentality I have at like midnight when I'm like at the end of a project. I'm just like, oh, just pasting them all. I just put them on there,
Let's see
and then
if it
I'm
works.
going to sleep.
Yeah, that will do.
And sometimes it works. Sometimes you get a happy accident, or you realize that, oh, it actually does what it's supposed to.
Let's see. So I did it here. Let me see if I actually pasted. Yes. I think it's looking pretty good. Like, I don't think it did anything bad. And I guess like this is something that it works because like all my clips are pretty neutral in color.
Right.
And my changes are not like exponential, like big changes. So it kind of works for all of them. But you gotta be careful depending on what you're working on. As always,
Well,
like,
and
works.
you're also shooting on an iPhone too, right? So I feel like it's a little different because whatever settings you're shooting with an iPhone already have contrast and saturation, like some of that color in there. So you're not going to really be pushing it too hard because then it can look maybe a bit over colored. Whereas if you were, filming on like a mirrorless or a cinema camera, you may shoot in a flatter color profile. So that in that case, then duplicating it all might be a little bit too much. But in this case, I think you're probably fine.
Okay, so let's check actually. So far I'm liking how it looks. I think it may be on this clips, it might be a little bit oversaturated on this side if you can see. So that's not something I plan to correct, but I guess we can make the changes and then also copy and paste it again. I think if you make changes, it's gonna create another Lumetri.
I think it shouldn't create another one. I think that's where this situation's probably where I would use the adjustment layer, just so that you're only creating one layer, and then you can kind of go in and tweak that one layer rather than having to paste it to each clip.
Yes, you're right. Let's do that. So we create our adjustment layer. So for those who don't are not familiar with the adjustment layer, you can always click on new item and you have a few things here. A color mat, which is like just a color background thing that you can use. So I really like that one. And we are doing now adjustment layer. So I created mine. I'm gonna drag it to all these clips here. Oh, that's bigger. I don't want to lose anything. So let me go back. Okay, I usually don't like to put things without seeing if I'm losing any footage after,
Right.
Because if I have something here, it's just gonna erase it. So let's see. There you go. I'll have. There you go. Okay. So we're just gonna cut this adjustment layer. And you were so right. Like this works now because it's kind of the same thing.
Yeah. Now you can remove the Lumetri color from the clips underneath it, and then just create that one color grade. And then if you have to tweak that, then at least you're just tweaking the adjustment layer and not each clip underneath it.
Yes. So I think that I kind of like the colors. I just think I need to lower the brightness a little bit. So I'm just gonna do that on the adjustment layer. Like lower the brightness. Oh, no, that's not good. That was too much.
I feel like every time I use the arrow key on the exposure tool, it just like blows everything out. It just goes incrementally by one. And I'm like, I don't ever want to brighten something that go that bright.
So maybe one more. Okay. Okay, I guess this is starting to look better.
Is anyone in the chat on TikTok or also creating TikTok videos? Let us know. If you are, obviously give Camila a follow and leave some comments. Let us know if TikTok is your native platform, if you're on YouTube, if you're totally brand new to video, and this is the first time you're checking out a video like this. We'd love to hear your thoughts. Love to hear your questions. Keep it coming. We got about an hour, and I can't do time. What time? The hour and about 15 minutes.
Okay.
It's been a long morning over here for James on the East Coast. So
Yeah, I can see that. Okay, so here you can see my little face.
solid.
This is too yellow. We don't like that. I think in my opinion it looks a little bit yellower. Actually, my skin looks kind of the same tone.
Yeah, they look pretty similar, I'd say. If anything, maybe the highlights are a little higher in the right clip. And again, like these are always if we're getting really detailed, like in this specific case, I think this is great for the Adobe Live. You know, like this is where I would use that lumetri scope to really see, okay, like the highlights look like they're much higher here than they are in this clip. Let me just maybe split the difference. And I believe with comparison view, that little to actually,
wow.
There you go. So you can kind of see that, oh, okay, yeah, those highlights are a little bit more intense in that clip than they are in the other clip. So it just gives you like a visual. Our eye plays tricks on us, but these scopes sometimes surprise me. I'm like, really? It's that bright? You know?
Yeah, I guess you're right. Like you can totally see how this is going up. So let's try to adjust it. So we're just gonna put the highlights down, and let's do it on the first one. So when we can copy and remove the lumetri from the others. You'll see what I'm saying later. Okay, so highlights down. Is it lowering? Do you see that? I can see that it's getting darker, but I don't see it here.
I think it did. Let's see. Sometimes what I find is with the scopes, they can be a little finicky, especially depending on like the machine that you're on. Oh yeah, there. So it's going now.
That's making a difference.
Yeah, like I sometimes click off a clip and then click back on it, and then it resets itself.
Yes. Okay. So now it's kind of like more similar. Yeah. And now that we're at it, I'm just gonna make. I don't like how warm it looks, to be honest. I'm just gonna make this a little bit less warm, I guess. Okay, that works for me. Sometimes it's just like the minor things that really make a difference.
Definitely. And I think a good note when doing a lot of these like color corrections, and I've run into this issue before and have sort of tried to understand, like in this case, your hero video clip might be you in your bedroom, at least because it's like the most, any shot with you in it is probably more of the shot you'd want to reference everything after, because sometimes when you're doing the comparison color grading, you can get so hung up on like clip to clip that you forget everything needs to match, but like what am I matching it to, you know? So sometimes it's nice to go, oh, okay, like this first scene is really what I want everything to feel like, so let me make sure I'm matching it to that. And so in your case, it could be you in the bedroom, and then everything else is kind of matching to that.
Yes, I think that's a really good point. I've definitely been caught up on like correcting every clip, and then I look at everything, I'm like, this does not match. Like this looks good on itself, but they don't match with each other. So definitely having a good reference, that's really helpful.
Definitely.
Okay, so I just change it to these ones, and that's me on the streets. I think this might be a little bit brighter, but because we have just one clip, I'm just gonna do it on itself. Exposure, let's put contrast, because they're flowers. We want them to be like colorful and pretty.
Yeah, they're so pretty.
Right, it's like the best time. Like everything's so happy after like the cold, sad, dark winter.
I know. Speaking of Harry Potter, since I just saw that book and we were talking about it yesterday, I was texting a friend last night after this stream, and he is like a diehard Harry Potter fan. His whole wedding was Harry Potter themed and everything. And I sent him a picture of a new tattoo that I had gotten, and he sent me one back, and I grew up with him and he doesn't have any tattoos. He's like, I finally pulled the trigger. I got a tattoo, and it's a Harry Potter tattoo.
Oh my God, I love your friend already.
I know. So I'm like,
I don't know who you are, but I love you. That's so cool. I think I would get a Harry Potter tattoo if I got one. That's
do you?
so fun.
Yeah, I felt like he's like, oh, I finally pulled the trigger, and that's what I got. I'm like, of course you would.
That's amazing. So what did he get? Do you know?
He and his wife are both really big Harry Potter fans, and so I think he got something for her that I guess they both sort of got them together, but
Hmm.
they got different pieces. He sent it to me this morning. Let me see what it is because you would know. Uh,
Yes.
I kind of know. Let me see. What did he say?
So I'm adding a little bit of contrast to the building so it looks a little bit like it pops a little bit more. And
Yeah.
I'm just going clip by clip, kind of correcting the colors.
Oh, he got a. Oh, so it was a bit of a combo. He got a Harry Potter lightning bolt inside a genie lamp, because the genie lamp is for his wife, named Jasmine.
Hmm. That's
And
so cool. I thought that one represents each.
yeah, that's kind of cool.
That's amazing. That's so fun. I want a tattoo now, a Harry Potter one.
Ooh, that's a cool mural. It looks like almost looks like Peter Griffin or something.
Yeah, I thought it was really like cute too. Like it says you're loved. Like such a cute, inspirational
Yeah, I love that.
mural. And then you have the buildings. I don't know if I showed here, but there was this guy with like this Mexican hat. Because I went right on May, whatever Mexican they celebrate like here, like Mexican 5th of July, May 5, I don't know, May 5th.
Oh, Cinco de Mayo.
Cinco de Mayo. Oh my God, I don't do that, but they some people do that, and I thought it was funny that he was wearing a hat.
Yeah, people go a little crazy.
Crazy, yeah.
I think it's just an excuse for everyone to drink tequila, or at least people that aren't Mexican tend to do that. And
Yes,
um,
definitely not Mexican.
you know,
I mean, maybe some. We don't know. Well, I guess here it's something I want to show people that I thought was really cool because when you have your playhead, which is this line here, and then you move it here and here, like it's always selecting the clip I'm at if you have the track selected. So if I deselect this, it's only gonna select the clips on that track. So you can see here. So if I want to go edit this one, the one I'm watching, and this used to conflict me before because I would like maybe my playhead would be like somewhere else, but I would be like watching. Oh, I mean, maybe this clip was selected like now, but I thought I was watching this, so I would just make like this whole edit and like wonder
oh
why
yeah,
is it
yeah,
not changing? It was because it was not selected.
yep, yep. That's a
And
good point too.
mhm. And I think to do that, to make sure it's selecting, I think you put like clip. I don't know if it's this one or like edit, but there's something where you can put like, okay, here. If you click selection follows playhead, wherever your playhead is gonna be selecting that clip. So make sure that you
Ah,
have that clicked. Selection follows playhead, and it's gonna always select the tracks that are selected. So like if I click here, it's only gonna select this one because I have that one selected.
ah,
But if I have them all selected, it's all gonna select the one on top. There you
gotcha,
go. Yeah, so I thought
gotcha.
that would be something cool and something like there's always some like little things that you don't understand that I think is so useful to tell people once you know them.
Absolutely. And it's those little tools and little things that you get hung up on, and people end up I can attest to it, pulling your hair out because you're like, I can't figure this one thing out. And so most of the time it is really simple, and it just requires tuning into Adobe Live and watching streams like this, and
Yes.
hopping on YouTube and finding, different resources, and again just practicing and learning those techniques. It is really, really helpful.
Yes. And yeah, I really hope this is helpful for everyone who's watching. What we have been doing so far, I'm editing a day in my life in New York City video for TikTok or for social media. And now we're going to color, but we have done a lot of things. We played with the sequence, we added B-roll, we showed how to make the volume of the music kind of go lower automatically whenever I'm talking. So if you want to watch all that, you can watch the stream from yesterday.
Perfect.
Yes.
Can I like make a quick suggestion, and depending on
Yes.
timing, and we have about an hour left, so I know you do want to get to another video, but The geotags and like the titles, I really like what you did there, but I was wondering if maybe do you feel comfortable showing any sort of keyframing with like some of the properties of that icon?
Yeah, for sure. Let's go. Let's do that. Okay. So you mean keyframes like to make them move, to make them appear?
Yeah, like maybe I was thinking maybe because we have that cool little blop, bloop, bop
Hmm.
sound, maybe the the icon could actually like pop in or scale up or something just to attract our eye to that.
Nice. Okay, let's do that. So I guess I'm just gonna go to editing, because I like when this looks big.
Yeah, it is a little easier when it's like that.
Hmm. Should we make this a sequence and then use that as one thing, or should we each do each? Well, maybe we should do like one, and then the text appears like.
That
No,
was it's totally up to you. You're the creator here, but I was kind of thinking that too. I was thinking maybe like the tag pops up and then we have our
text.
title come in, and then I think we can nest that so that if we wanted to change the scale of the entire global like text, then
Hmm.
we can do that with a nested layer.
Perfect. Let's do that. Okay. So we're gonna click on our icon here, and we're gonna use some keyframes. That's what we're doing, right?
Yeah, let's
Okay.
see what we're working with.
So I guess like we can make this a little bit like start beforehand. I don't know if that's gonna work. Let's see. So here, okay. So it's gonna be very fast. I'm thinking that we could put the scale, click here. So when you click one of these little clocks, whatever movement you do to your video to on this occasion, the PNG, it's gonna, if I make any movements here, like for example, I make it bigger, that's gonna do that. So you can get very
Yeah.
creative with that. And so we can always, I think we can make it to like 0 here and just drag this to the beginning and have it like, is that too fast?
That
It
might be a
looks a
little
little bit
might be a
fast.
little fast just
Help me
because
here. How long do you think it should be?
I tend to just drag it out, just by eye, and then I see where what is too slow first, and then I sort of just start to backtrack it. But yeah, see what that
Okay,
looks like, and see if that's either too slow or works for you.
that's too slow,
Too slow.
right? Maybe a little bit less. Let's see here. What do you think?
It was hard to see on that one.
Okay, I
Yeah,
think it's pretty
yeah,
good. I think it works.
I think
Okay,
that's nice.
so how about we grab this? We can always like select both and copy paste them to the other clip. So I think I'm gonna do that really fast just to make sure that all of them have it. You know what? We don't need to do that. I can do it on my own. So let's teach more things.
Yeah, I like it.
Okay, so here I want the text to appear from kind of like that pops and the text appears. So let's have a longer text for that. This is better. Okay, so I'm just gonna copy the same thing here, paste like I did before. I don't know if it's gonna work. Yeah, there you go. So this is kind of what we used for the PNG. So I'm just gonna drag that to where it's supposed to go here. So now it should be good. Okay, there you go.
Nice.
And I don't think you can hear this much, so we're gonna just put the volume a little bit lower. Oh shit, that's too much. So yeah, I get so distracted when we're like,
I know
oh,
it's
that
so
doesn't
easy to
work.
be
Yeah.
like you like go to a different thing when there's so much happening in the timeline. Like I have to actually just sit myself down and be like, okay, take it in chunks. Like focus on this spot, then focus on this, then focus here.
Yes, definitely. Because you're like, oh my God, I should fix that. And you're like, all of a
Yeah,
sudden correcting like sizes and colors, which you're
totally.
not supposed to be doing. But okay, so we have it here, like the keyframes. Do you think that if we put like easy in, ease out, that would work?
Sure. Yeah, that's a great. I was gonna see if you wanted to add that, and then maybe we can drop it down and go into the little editor underneath to show people how those tools work there.
Okay, yes. So you just basically right click, and all of these do different things. I usually use I think use auto this here, which makes them more, I guess, nicer. It's not like it just all of a sudden does like a movement. But in this case, we're just gonna put ease out. So whenever it stops, it doesn't just stop like all of a
Right.
sudden. It stops like nice in a nicer way.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. That's a good way to put it. I feel like when you're watching animation, even though this is a simple animation, like everything feels nice and bubbly, like
Flowy.
the flowy, and that all happens with these ease in and ease out properties.
Mm-hmm.
And you can actually, like, if you drop where it says scale and the little toggle, like your little stopwatch to the left there,
Mm-hmm.
all the way to the left, that little caret, if you toggle that down, and then you can actually see the graph and like what it looks like. So
Mm-hmm.
when you add an ease in and ease out, you can actually like drag those and make them even um more bubbly or flowy, however you choose to do it.
Oh, there you go. Okay, that's really cool. I'm just learning this. I didn't know you could
So
do that.
see that tiny little, so right below that keyframe, there's that little, yep. So pull that down. So
Okay.
you can actually pull it and like create your, right to the left of that. It's a little harder to do it in Premiere, but if you click the keyframe, so click the actual keyframe, and you see that tiny little like handle there to the left, right there.
Mm-hmm. This one?
If you pull that down, you can actually see it creating its own graph.
Like ease in, ease out. That's
So
so cool.
so it's sort of like a manual ease in and ease out. And then what you can
Mm-hmm.
do is you can drag both down, and then you can kind of like pull them into the middle, and that'll create like more of a whoop, whatever sound effect that was that I just made. But so it's something that you can certainly play with. But I
Mm-hmm.
use that a lot if I'm not animating any little things in After Effects. You can do a lot of that right here in Premiere, which is cool.
Mm-hmm. That's so cool. I'm just finding this out. I didn't know you could customize it, but it's so amazing to learn
Yeah,
new
it's
things. But basically now it should look a little bit better, but I guess this is something you should try with whatever project you're doing, because now it's really small and we're on a stream, it might not look as, might not be able to see the difference, but it's
right.
definitely something to practice and
Yeah,
work.
definitely.
Okay, I like that. I
Cool.
think that works.
I like that a lot. Jimmy had a question.
Yes.
I will answer this question, and then maybe throw it over to you as well, Camila. But Jimmy said he noticed we're editing the colors, but that won't affect the video. Is there a certain setting you need to capture video in order to edit the colors? Jimmy, I'm going to just be simplified in that response, but basically, like, if it's not on an iPhone, and even if it is on an iPhone, like, there's no really correct way to have a color style. That's obviously preference, but for the best dynamic range and for the most ability to change colors, it is really good to shoot in like a flatter color profile. So again, like some more cinema cameras and some like mirrorless cameras have that ability. I think on an iPhone, there's got to be ways where you can actually lower the contrast and saturation and things like that. But for Camila's purpose here, she was just editing really on what she already got on her iPhone. So um, I hope that answers your question.
Great, so let's do the effect here. I think that on the text, I'm gonna use keyframes, but I wanna use them on an effect, which is crop. For this, you can just type your effects here. I like the crop one, I use it so much, but I'm just gonna drag this to my clip, to my text, and then I kind of want it to, maybe when it's on this here, like I want it to be over here. I want that to be the whole text. So I'm just gonna, where's my crop? There you go. So I'm just gonna put the keyframes. Honestly, I'm really bad with left and right. That's where like my weak points are left and right. I usually like which one is which. But this time I'm just gonna put keyframes on both because I don't wanna just mess it up before. I even try, let's see. Okay, so I wanted to come, I guess from the right? Like, there you go. See, like I knew it. Okay, so I
Cool.
want this to disappear completely. There you go. We have another keyframe when it's disappeared completely. We're gonna put that at the beginning. We're gonna ease this one in. We ease it out. Ease out, right? No, in.
So it's weird. Sometimes like I play around with that because sometimes ease in to end looks better than ease out to end. So I almost like start with ease out and then I end with ease in. It's kind of like a reverse.
Yeah, I
But
think it's that. Yeah, you're right.
I'm not sure why, but
Because
so
you're
either one.
in, like, going in the effect and then you're getting outside of the effect,
I
right?
think so.
Like that's
Yeah.
kind of like how I feel it works. Okay, so we're gonna ease in. Or should do we did we no, okay, well never mind. We'll put ease in and it's gonna work for us. Okay, so why did that not work? Did you see that? Oh, it did work. It was just really fast.
Oh yeah, you can.
We're gonna make it
Yeah.
slower. So I have my playhead here, and I can always move my keyframes to where I think it's gonna be better, like here. Okay, let's see how it looks now. I thought that was really fast as well. What do you think?
Play it one more time for me. It lags a little bit on my end, so it's hard for me to see. It
Should we
might be a little
nest
bit.
it?
Let's see.
Okay. Maybe it's not that bad. Maybe a
Yeah,
little bit
yeah,
slower.
that's good. I think you can adjust that, but I think the idea is there. It just gives us something a little extra.
Yeah,
Um,
exactly.
and it's nice. Like that little sound effect that you put in yesterday, little blop, bloop, pop sound effect. It's nice because we're hearing that and then we're seeing that little pop now. So it's making a little more sense.
Yes, yes. So let's watch. I kind of made it a little bit slower. Let's watch it. I like that. I like how like
Yeah.
it's a little bit
Yeah.
slower.
Yeah, that looks really nice.
Great. So I think that we can, like I said, we can always copy and paste this effect to the other ones. But for time's sake, maybe we can get started on the other video.
Sure. Yeah, that sounds
And
great.
yes, so should we show how this one ended up being? I feel it's gonna cut a little bit if it's not rendered. Or should everyone watch the final results on TikTok?
That is totally up to you. I think we have time to do whatever you'd like. I think maybe given that I would have to render, maybe if we have some time at the end, we could watch it back. If not, I know you are going to post this on TikTok. So if everyone in the chat wants to see it, obviously head over to Camila's TikTok. But yeah, if you want to get started on the other video, and then if we have some time at the end, we can pop back in and watch this one back.
Perfect. That sounds great. Yeah, because then we would have to render, and sometimes that takes a while. And my computer, it sounds like it's not having her best day. So let's let her breathe.
Yep, I know that. I definitely know that sound. It's like, man, you're just working way too hard. You need a little break.
Yes, exactly. She's gonna have her break after. Okay, so I already created the sequence, but I think I'm gonna create a new one just to show it to the people who
Cool.
are watching this. I like to go here, file, new sequence. You can also put Command or Control N. And the settings, because it's vertical, you have these numbers, you just flip them. So instead of being 1920 by 1080, you just do 1080 by 1920. And I'm gonna do, I like to name everything organized, like always put the names when you can.
Oh, yes.
Nighttime routine, new, because I had one that I was already editing. New. Okay, so we
Camila,
have.
do you I wanted to ask you this yesterday, but future plans. I know we hit on it a little bit yesterday to start the stream, but do you plan on continuing the filmmaking and the editing route? And like, are you gonna work to maybe upgrade some of the camera gear? Are you planning on just shooting with the phone? Like, what's your future plans that you want to do with this?
That's a really good question. Honestly, I would like to start focusing more on creating more content for TikTok and YouTube as well. I feel like YouTube is it consumes more time to create content. I don't know why my sequence here is like a square. Do you know what's happening? Oh, it's because we have sorry.
Oh yeah, our little
Yeah, I got
comparisons on.
so confused. Um, and yeah, I really want to get more serious into just creating more for both TikTok and YouTube. Then I would like to, like I said, in the future, my long-term goal is to be a filmmaker of issues that have to do with feminism, gender equality, and all that. But that's kind of like in the future. For now, I actually would like to learn UX design. So I've been trying to get into UX design.
Very cool.
And like we talked yesterday, I got a little bit inspired about like learning how to do After Effects and just like upping my work skill.
That's very cool. Yeah, I mean,
Yes.
any any of those routes I think would pan out. And it's just great that there's so many resources out there for you to learn those things, and kind of if you have the desire to do it and you want to continue to push yourself, I think, you really have everything at your disposal to do that. So I'm very excited to see your progression, your journey.
Thank you. Yes. But yeah, I think that all of them are very creative. I really like the creative side of things, but also always put kind of like what you really care about when you're doing that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Um, okay, so here for my night routine video, I have, okay, so I filmed this with my brother. We got a little bit extra, so we kind of put 3 cameras just to show one thing, just to like have different perspectives. So for my night routine, the first thing I do is always put everything aside. Like I close my computer, put my phone like in the other side of the apartment, just because I don't want to look at more screens after being on a screen all day. Like that's the last thing I want to do. So
Yep.
that's kind of what I'm showing now. And so we have this one perspective. I keep existing settings. So that's me with my brother, we're filming. And then we have this other perspective, which is basically the same video, but from a different angle. And this C1, like the third one. And what I like to do here, like I said, like Premiere always does what we need. And to synchronize this, and you can do this, I didn't know if actually I was just trying today, you can do it with three tracks, 3 videos, but you select them all, right click, synchronize, and it's gonna synchronize the audio, which means that your video is being synchronized as well. So that's it by yourself, which I think is so nice. You don't have to like, like just
Yeah.
do it frame by frame until you find the right one.
And it seems like you have in the audio tracks there, it seems like you have a nice peaked audio, whether you clapped or something, right? Like so that you can actually, I think it gives Premiere a bit of a head start in
Yes.
cutting those, right?
Yeah. Actually, we did clap here. My brother who was filming me, he he did clap. Maybe, hopefully, we won't see him do that, but he did clap. So it would be better for the sound. And I think that clapping is such a kind of like a standardized thing now in film. Like there's always like that like very high sound, like to know what's happening.
Well, yeah, I mean, when you don't have an actual slate, like a film slate, that's
Slate.
that's that's the
That's a
whole
clap.
the whole purpose of those existing. A clap just does just fine. It's great.
Exactly. But well, the slate, that's what it's for. And also, if you don't have that, you can always like you can hear here.
There you go.
I think he said cut. He got so into it. I love it. Okay. So because I have a lot of things to put on the timeline, and I already did start this, so we're just gonna go back to what I have kind of done by myself, just for time's sake. I think is actually, let me look at like this. This is better. Night edited nighttime routine. Is this or this one? Yeah, this one. So I already did that. I did synchronize those clips, and I also synchronized this one of me cleaning my room. So what I was thinking here, because I have 3 cameras, kind of like choosing which angle looks better for what. I don't enjoy this angle here. I feel like it's kind of covering my face. I thought it was going to look so creative, but honestly, now that I look at it, maybe we can maybe have it for to start, like the first thing.
It looks cool with the houseplants, but yeah, I think you're framing, because like you could be sitting a little further back, but that's what we shoot a lot of these for, because we can then decide what we want to use and what we don't want to use.
Exactly. So I think that it could work just like for the beginning, like we can put a nice title that says night routine and kind of blur it at first, like make it blurry and then unblurry just for this, and then move.
Cool.
So we're just gonna cut it here. So we're gonna use that, but not for all. So that's me. And that's me closing my computer and just standing up and leaving to my room. So we have 2 angles here, that one and this one. Oh, this needs a lot of color correction, but we can work on that later. So I think that, let's see, let me think. Okay, so I guess like when I close my computer, that could be a nice time to enter the other segment. Yes. Sorry, I need to put this up here. I think that's gonna make more sense for me. There you go. So this is not cut on the same place. Okay, so now this should be better. No, yeah, no, here. This should be good. Let's see.
Just being done,
Oh,
closing it all.
it did not. Okay, so that maybe it's a little bit long. I like
I,
that. I like how it changes to
yeah.
the camera. Okay. Anyway, this is me cleaning my room. This is a very long clip. I wanted to do a time lapse here.
Cool.
Yeah, so what I do after I finish, just close everything, my room can get a little bit of a mess. Like you can see here, actually it was not too messy, I have to admit. I just put things on the bed to make it messier, just saying that. And I clean my room just to like make sure the next day is nicer, you know, like to wake up in a clean room
Yeah.
is always nice. So this camera, my camera ran out of memory, so it just stopped filming, but we can use whatever I'm doing in front of the camera that works. Maybe this part. I'm like going down, and that's not necessary. But my idea here is to have me remove, there you go. I just wanna kind of do like the same thing, just different angles, different cameras type of thing. So maybe here that I'm like, you can actually see me here. We can have that. I think that works. And then we can remove this. Okay, so one thing here, if you see, I'm trying to like make cuts, but my cuts are not very precise, but I wanted to cut it like right where this one begins.
Yep.
And it's because this is not selected or snap. So if we want this thing to kind of like snap basically to the other clips, if you have like a marker, it's also going to snap to the marker. Make sure that's selected. And now you see like it makes sure I'm there.
Yeah.
So I don't know how to explain that better. Maybe you can, but
No, that was
that's really
that
helpful.
you explained it perfectly. I use it a lot as a keyboard shortcut. So I think if you hover over it, S is the shortcut on a Mac.
Mhm.
Again, you can customize it to whatever tool you feel like works for where your hands are, but I'll just kind of go through the timeline, press S if I need to get a really, really specific cut. And if I want to snap it, I just press S again, and the playhead snaps to the clip I need it to snap to. So
Yes. So, okay. So I'm thinking that I like when I'm here. I don't know what I'm doing. I think that's when my camera turned off. I was so disappointed. Um, anyway, so we can maybe just show a little bit of me moving things up here. And this one clip, I'm just gonna put it up here. So I think in my head, we just need this to make it look cool. So this whole thing, I'm just gonna erase, eliminate. And we're just gonna put this lower here. And then this thing, let's see how it looks first. Maybe, no, never mind, that's gonna take too long. Let's sequence this and make it faster. So it's a time lapse.
cool. Okay.
Nest. I'm gonna nest it because if I change the speeds on all of those, that's gonna be a little messy for my head. So we're just gonna have a nice nested sequence and velocity just to make this faster, because we don't really need to focus on timing and anything. We're just gonna press R, and this is gonna, it's kind of like a time tool. So we're just gonna make this really, really fast, like that.
Boom.
There you go.
You're going to be cleaning your room so speedy fast.
Yes.
You're like, yeah, and it could
Not
even be,
even that fast. We
no,
can
it
make
could
it
even be,
faster, right?
sure. Yeah, because
Well,
you're at
this
like
is magic.
600 something percent. Yeah, I would almost go to like 2000%.
Yeah. Yeah, we need the magic. Harry Potter, this is you making your magic. Okay, let's see. Oh, that's cool. I
Yeah,
like that. Oh my
cool.
God.
Very
Like
cool.
it's changing cameras, and oh, okay, this is something good to get in. Something happened that for some cameras, this when I film with my brother's camera, like the visuals, like the image is just perfect for Premiere, like you can see here. But when I film with my camera, it looks so super like overexposed when I drag it to my sequence. So we were talking about this with James beforehand. And what did you say happened?
It could be a number of like troubleshooting things. Yeah, again, like you said, you're shooting with an iPhone, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so if the footage looks good, which it does in your sequence, it could just be something where you'd have to like give Premiere a breather. And so in your preferences, you empty like your media cache, which is basically all like the auto saved files,
Mm-hmm.
a lot of little like troubleshooting things that may tend to be an issue. If you honestly like if you didn't get too far in a project, you can just remove all the clips that you imported and then re-import them. Sometimes Premiere has a little bit of like an issue if you import a bunch of clips, and that could be it. If not, I'm not totally sure what the problem could be. My initial thought would be that it was actually the way it was shot, because sometimes like the iPhone auto exposes highlights in a way. But look, I mean, that I feel like you just like
Yeah, I
could,
kind of corrected it, right? Like it just lowered the exposure and it
but it did
worked.
like, but it like completely fixed the whole, it looked like that like
Mm-hmm.
shut it off. So maybe
Yeah,
maybe
maybe
that
it's
was the
just like an
problem.
exposure problem.
It
Maybe
could
it's like
be.
even the way I create the sequence, but I really need to find out why that happens because
Mm,
it does happen to me often and also with client work.
mm,
Um, but yeah, that's always, I guess, like when you're running into these problems, there's always someone else who runs into them as well. So just
yeah.
Google them. I think there's a community on Adobe, like people answer questions and all that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if anyone else in the chat knows an issue of why maybe there would be that like overexposed highlight happening in this case, please let us know. I think it seems like you just fixed it, but of course it's nice to not have to deal with those issues, especially when you're
Yes.
doing client work. It can become very frustrating. So
Mm-hmm. So I just pasted that to all my videos here because these were all overexposed. So I just did that so we don't have to overwhelm our eyes with overexposure.
great.
Um, anyway, okay, so we have this me cleaning really fast. I like that. That's so cool.
It looks awesome. Looks great.
Yes, I think it looks great. Okay, so now I'm getting ready to sleep. I did this already a little bit, but I'm kind of put a lot of clips together.
I like that too.
That was me making like
Nice.
a little, how do you say that?
Like
Transitions?
yeah, actually that's a perfect transition into a question that we got in the chat about
Mm-hmm.
transitions. We're just getting super meta in this
Yeah,
situation.
we
But
really are.
Ruben had a question.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any recommendations regarding transitions during editing? Sometimes I feel that I overdo them. So Camila, obviously you have this really cool transition here. Can you maybe speak to how you know incorporate transitions like this into your videos?
Yeah, I think that, well, if you're doing transitions for every single clip, you are overdoing it. But like, let's say I would put a transition here and then one here, like that would be too much. But I guess like if it's a short video, make sure you have some like a couple really cool transitions like the one I had, but don't think that you have to do a transition for every single clip. Like not
Right.
everything is about transitions. You can always have like very like plain transitions like here. It just changes the clip. Like we don't need a cool
Right.
transition there. But if
Right.
you want to do transition, like if that's your thing, like go for it.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very easy to get transition happy.
Yes.
Ruben, I'm sure your transitions are wonderful, but I think uh, at least for me, like the mindset that I try to have is to think through each clip so that I know, and like what you're doing here, Camila, like you're thinking about which clip comes next and how do those clips on their own transition together, whether it's a match cut, whether it's just a hard cut, whether it's maybe like a whip pan in camera, or it's you know using something that's moving in front of your camera to transition. There's a lot of really clever ways to do it without having to put like a whole transition pack
Mm-hmm.
you know onto it, because that for a while that was like the trendy thing, and like do some zooms and pushes and twirls and things like that. And again, I am not discounting that at all. There's plenty of need for that, but in moderation, like anything. And I think it puts your filmmaker brain on and your editing brain on to think about like how am I going to transition from clip to clip just by what I shot and in camera.
Exactly. And I also think that if it makes sense for what you're shooting, like if you're changing an outfit, like it's cool to do a cool, like a small little transition. But if you're doing normal, like change of shots, maybe it's not very necessary.
Right.
But really, like make sure if it makes sense. I have another transition later, so we're gonna look at that as well. And
There,
oh, Sorry, no, you were saying.
Just to go on that, Ruben, if you're still in the chat here, there's a great YouTube. I mean, there's a ton of great YouTube channels for this exact thing, but if you're looking for more of those kind of transitions, Daniel Schiffer, who I'm sure a lot of people know, is a YouTuber from Canada, and he's like really well known for creating transitions with food and with all of these like spec commercial work. And he goes behind the scenes a lot to like show you how he does all these camera transitions. So might be something worth checking out.
That's so cool. I didn't know that.
Sorry, Camila, did not mean to cut you off there.
No, what's the name of the YouTuber you said?
His name is Daniel Schiffer. I would be hard pressed if not one person in the chat knew who he is. He's gotten pretty successful, but he is a great teacher of transitions. That's sort of his brand, and he doesn't overuse them, but they are very apparent and they're there, and they're all done in camera, which I think is really cool.
Yeah, that's so cool. I'm just definitely gonna like look him up after this. What I've been doing here is that a lot of the shots, they do take a while. Like here I'm writing my to-do list for the next day, but we don't need to see all that, so I make it faster, and I think even now we can make it faster. So I'm really overusing the R key just to make a lot of things faster. I think for this nighttime routine type of videos, you really want things to like just have a lot of change, like a lot. I guess when you have a lot of things going on, it really captures people's attentions too.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think you've done a great job in just, setting each of these shots differently and like framing them in different ways. I think that's a really, it just keeps the pace moving, and it doesn't feel like every clip is in the exact same spot, even if maybe they were filmed within 30 minutes of each other. So you did a great job on, at least framing different things.
Perfect, thank you. And yes, I think that what you said, like fast-paced, people like that. And one thing I want to show here, so here I have another transition. I don't think it's the slickest, but we can look at it. Like I go down and then I come up with my hair like that. We can make that faster first. And now you can see here, I don't know what happened with the colors, but this one is a lot brighter than this one. So I guess this was a good time to use our nice little comparison view and just match them. So what you can do here, if you want to match the specific place, we didn't show this before. Like let's say my play hit here is at like 36 point something. I want this clip to go to that point, so you can always move it on your clip. But I like to make things easier, so I just copy the time and paste it here, and it's gonna go exactly to that point. Yeah,
perfect.
And then here, this one is too yellow. We don't like that. So we're just gonna make it a little bit bluer, I guess. There you go. And I think that's pretty good, actually. We could just keep it there.
And it seems like it like moves slightly, so you could almost like realign the position of that door.
Yes, that's what I was thinking.
Cool.
So let's do that. I'm gonna zoom into this clip a little bit more. I do not like how you can see here how my back is looking like what. No, that's not good. So we're just gonna zoom here to this part where you don't see me much. So, okay, so let's put me in the center of this. There you go. And I was thinking of putting this up here. I don't know, like if you have another idea of how I could do this, you can tell me. But I was thinking of lowering the opacity, right? And then kind of matching the door to the other door. Oh, there you go. Maybe let's see. Okay, so I need to make this bigger, I think. My face is not the same size.
Oof. We have a morphed Camila right here.
Yeah, that's how my kid would look like with me. Okay, so I think that's I don't love that. Let's keep trying. You don't have to be like a perfectionist or like try to do your best. Like you can actually just try to do your best. That's what I'm doing here, and I think that works actually. Look.
So I think that clip, step 5, maybe just brighten it a little, like bring the highlight up, and then I think you're pretty good. And as you're working on this, I just want to have another question here. We have Voodoo Val asked a great question, and Camila, this is for you. What are some tips you can share that you wish you knew when you first started editing videos?
Oh, that's such a good question. I think that is just edit as much as you can if you really want to get good at this. And I don't think I'm like the best at this. Like I think I still have so much to learn, but I think I learned by editing. And if you don't have anything to edit for yourself, what I learned editing for my YouTube channel, I was like, I need videos to edit. I didn't know what to edit, so I opened a YouTube channel to learn how to edit.
Mm-hmm.
But you can always like do like just freelance, and whatever challenge gets to you, like whatever client, like they want some crazy things, and that's how you learn, by editing. So if you really want to get into like any skill, just start doing that, and the more you do it, the better you get at it.
Absolutely. Yeah, I could not agree more with that statement. I think that's we've said it probably I feel like a couple hundred times as I'm on these streams, but it is really it's so true that the more you do it, practice, you learn, and it starts to become second nature. And so that's advice that I would certainly give my younger self, just to take on as many projects as you can actually handle. And I think another point too is say yes to things. Like, so if you get people that are interested in hiring you as a video editor, let's say you've been doing it for a little while, it's going to be scary because it'll be your first one you do, but say yes to it, figure it out as you go. And I think I heard someone say something really poignant the other day about like accountability in those situations, and how you have a lot of accountability and it can feel very stressful, but that's where you learn the most. And you learn when you're sort of forced into a situation. And I think
Mm-hmm.
anyone who wants to get into editing and filmmaking, just do it.
Exactly. And one more thing, is that you're never gonna learn, like stop learning. Like this is something that goes for life. Like you're always gonna like learn new things. And if you know like Premiere, let's say by heart, you're gonna learn new things about filmmaking and like text and how you can make things better. There's always gonna be new platforms. So like the learning, like you can never really become well, you can become an expert, but you can always keep learning. There's no like a goal to reach. I feel like you can always make that better. Like if you know Premiere, then go into After Effects.
Yeah.
Just if you do like the best YouTube videos, go into social media like TikTok, Instagram. If you like that, you know that already, go into filmmaking, like making movies. Like there's so much more that you can always explore.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Very, very well said. And that kind of brings up another point too, of, Premiere and After Effects and Illustrator and all the Adobe products. They are merely a tool. And while they are great tools, the most important thing that we as artists and creators have to remember is that what we choose to create and the story that we create on anything, whether it's a TikTok video like this, whether it's a documentary on YouTube, whether it's a feature film, a short film, Instagram reel, whatever it is, like we put our mark on that as creators. And I think in starting, it's very easy to get hung up on the technicalities of, oh, I don't know how to use this software, so I'm not going to get started, or I'm going to give up. And I think the most important thing is that the tools exist. You can certainly learn. Tutorials are there. Places like this are here for those that want to learn. But the most important thing is that you have that passion and desire to create something, and don't let the tools scare you away. Just roll with it and learn as you go.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right,
Um,
Camila, you have about 20-ish minutes left. Just keeping you honest here. So you're doing a great job. And again, for those that are with us, please 20 more minutes to leave whatever questions you have. If you're new to filmmaking, if you're new to video editing, let us know what projects you're working on. Love to hear from anyone in the chat here. And again, yesterday, if you've missed yesterday's stream, go back over to the YouTube channel to watch day one. We're almost wrapped up on day two here, so lots of good nuggets of information today.
yes, definitely, and having a good time here. And I remember someone asked yesterday, how do we import videos from your phone to your computer? And I said you can always connect your computer to connect it on the cable and go into this app that I didn't remember. But okay, your computer has image capture. If you have a Mac, you just put image capture, search for that, and image capture helps to export anything from your phone. You can select it. It's really easy, actually. I did that the other day, and it was so easy. You don't have to use AirDrop or anything like that. Just image capture. It keeps all the information there.
Sweet. Okay. That's great advice.
So I thought that I remember to like set it today because I thought that was really cool and I did not know about that. And it's faster too because you're using the cables. So
Very
here
cool.
you can see how I'm doing like very extra. I don't do this every day, which is for the video, but using my night. I think this is retinol, I think.
When you said nighttime routine, my wife has like her nighttime routine is just like that, like the bathroom, doing
Mm-hmm.
the whole thing, face. So that's what I thought the whole video would be. So it was nice to see like, oh, okay, like nighttime routine starts when I close this laptop.
Yes. So I guess in my case, I don't have a lot of things in the bathroom to put on my face. I really want to get more into skincare, but yeah, I think that I only have 3 products, so I use them all for this video. But that's definitely something cool. Like it's so cool. I love to see those like videos when they just show everything they use and put them on their faces. But yeah, so I don't know why my brother filmed this like horrible angle here of me
Uh,
like putting things.
so I was gonna ask you, did you have a tripod or he was the one filming each of
No,
these?
he was like the one, and he's laughing here. Like, see, we were like having such a good time apparently, but I was like, don't get so close. That's so weird. But okay, that's better. So, yeah. So some of them we're not using. That's not doing me any favors. But like here, for example, that's a little bit nicer. Okay, so I'm just gonna put that. And all of this, I'm just dragging the videos, not the audio. Here and later, because we already have like a minute here and we want this to be very, very fast, I'm just gonna make them shorter after. So I'm just going over everything. Like this one, we don't need this. I don't know what I'm doing here. Oh yeah, he wanted to film a different angle.
Yeah,
So we
that's
can maybe
cool.
do that. Really, really short snippets of video. Like I opened them.
One thing you also realize too, as an editor, and I'm sure you're learning this as you go too. Yeah, see, that's weird because that
Mm-hmm.
clip looks fine, but
No, it's
it,
because I added the lumetri colors to all of them. Not
okay.
to this ones, to the new ones.
um is the like routine and clips where there's a lot of action happening, the more you edit, the more you realize we don't need to see like all of these actions happening,
Mm-hmm.
for the audience or the viewer to sort of associate that routine. So it's really nice to start with all those clips and then continue to like peel back the onion and actually get to the stuff that looks the most interesting and just furthers the story, because it can
Yes.
be, everyone has seen a really bad movie where you're watching it and you're like, why did I just see someone go into the refrigerator, grab the milk, they close the door, then they walk to the other thing, then they looked at their watch? Like, you don't need to see all that. So that definitely comes with time too.
Yes, definitely. I think that, well, you have more experience on this, but I would guess that the more you do it, the more you know what works and what doesn't. So you just don't film things that you don't need.
Yeah, exactly. Yep. You're just like, okay, well, this is the sequence. And I take I'm dropping some like big YouTuber names, but Casey Neistat is a really good example of someone who, has created his own brand as a vlogger, and every shot that he has in most cases, even in vlogs, serves some purpose, even though it's like a day in the life of Casey most of the time. So
Mm-hmm.
I think a lot of those creators are good to, just for anybody to study and see, okay, like why did they choose that shot? Um and yeah, again, it's all from experience, and I continue to try to think about those things when I create work. And I think you did a great job thinking about that here too. Like you have the whole routine, but in cutting it together, I think it'll really come together.
Yeah, I agree. Like when you watch other people's work, you can always see why do they do the things they do, especially the ones that like are really good at what they do. Also watching movies, I really like. If the movie's
Yeah.
boring, don't stop watching. Just watch like what
Yeah.
is happening, like in terms of like editing and cinematography.
Yeah.
I do that. If I'm not liking the movie, I just keep watching and learn.
Well, I think that's great. I think you also watch what doesn't work. You watch what,
Mm-hmm.
and I think as people who, as just being entertained, like it's very easy as editors to be, we're so in the weeds and we want to get everything right and we want to put every little thing in there. But as a regular viewer, I show a lot of work to friends and family, and just people who want to watch it. And if they're uninterested in a sequence, then I know, oh, okay, this is too long, or I don't need that, or I don't need that. And it's hard not to get attached to little clips. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, but I don't want to get rid of it.
That's so true. Sorry, I'm trying to edit while we talk, but I forgot we have sound here. So my brother was like so impatient at some point. He's like, okay, we did that. Okay.
It's like, we're good.
Yeah.
You're not paying him enough. He's like, I'm not
I'm
getting
not-
paid for this.
Yeah, at all. He's not getting paid, but he gets paid by my good humor, I think.
Yeah, there you go.
And
Is he
my
is he in the chat? Did you tell him to hop on? And
no, actually he left my house, so I don't think he's in the chat. I don't even know where he is, but he told me that he didn't want it to be any interference with the signal, so he wouldn't join.
oh, right. Oh, because he's at the house with you guys.
Yes, I mean he doesn't live here, but he's coming to help me.
Gotcha.
Or like she's staying here with us for a little bit these days.
Well, thank you for your brother for helping you out and putting
Yeah,
this
shout out to
routine
him.
together. Shout out to
Yes, Chris.
Chris.
Yeah, for helping me film it. He really did. I'm so grateful. He really did help me. He was as patient as it could get. So it was really nice. I don't know, he was filming that. So it was kind of funny also to go back to these clips and see in some parts we start like arguing with each other. I thought it was really funny. But I don't think I have more of those here. Okay, so that's when I turn off the light. I don't know, it's okay. So maybe we can, I want to use a sound.
Yeah, that sounds nice.
And exactly on the part where I turn off the light, I have another angle, so I want to use that. So maybe here, let's put a marker just for fun. And I like this angle. So, like that. So do you think that could work?
Yeah, that's cool.
See if it looks, oh shoot, the color. Okay, so I did paste my little thing. Well, I think that's cool. What do you think?
I think that's really cool. I would probably actually just cut the beginning of that clip where you see the light on, just because if you turned the switch, it's probably off already. So I would almost just go right there. And I think that works really well.
Let's see. You're right. Like this. Oh my god, that happens to me a lot.
I know.
Like things here and it changes and it kind of throws me off. Wow, that's really cool.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah, I like that.
I dig it. We have another question here from Ruben. Sorry, Ruben, to keep you waiting. Hopefully you're still in here. But how do you avoid degrading a shot during editing? I feel that sometimes I make mistakes during blending footage. I'm not exactly sure what you mean in the question. Are you talking about like compressing the footage? Or are you talking about when you're exporting the footage? Maybe you can be a little more specific for us.
Okay, so now I like to read beforehand. And once again, Harry Potter, if you're watching this, sponsor us, because I am reading Harry Potter here.
It's like she didn't get enough Harry Potter during the day, so I gotta just be finishing the book for the 7th time in bed.
Definitely. I think, like, I actually feel like that sometimes. I'm like, I did not read enough Harry Potter. But, well, we finished reading, so no more sponsorship for us. But I like to meditate after. I always like to meditate at night. So now that's me looking for a meditation within it. Okay.
That's such a great thing to do. I really should try to do that more often. I used to, and for whatever reason I stopped doing it. And that's so great that you meditate. Do you use the Calm app? Is that what you kind of help to get into it?
Yeah, so I actually just use YouTube. We look for guided meditation. In the mornings, I look for like guided 10 minutes or 15, 20 minutes, depending on how much time and how I'm feeling meditation. And at night, I also go on YouTube. I like to there's this thing called Yoga Nidra, NIDRA, A, and it's so relaxing. Definitely recommend to anyone who's watching, do that. It's so nice. And there's like yoga nidra to sleep, so I use that one, and it really always helps me sleep and relax my whole body and kind of like let go of the day.
Oh, wow.
On this clip, I just went into podcast, I think, because I don't have the YouTube app on my phone because I get distracted a lot with YouTube, so I just erase it. But I go into Google Chrome and I go into YouTube, but it's not pretty, so I just wanted to like show it on the podcast.
Cool.
What I do. This is just for looks.
I feel like
so
I
it
need
looks
to.
pretty.
I feel like I need to remove YouTube from my phone. That would be like one of those things where I'm like, should I do it? Should I do it? Like I'm on there all the time, and it ends up, it's both a good thing and a bad thing. It distracts me a lot of the time. So, oh, that's cool.
Yeah, I think that honestly, with all social media, as long as it's intentional and it's not making you feel worse and wasting all your time, like it's good.
Yeah.
But
agreed.
it's always nice to have like a good limit of this angle. Oh my God.
It's like he's some sort of higher power looking down on you.
Like you really did that here. What? Like you did tell me, like I did a lot of angles. I didn't think that was the angle.
Ruben, I'm going to try to answer your question based on what I think you're asking about during compression. So avoid degrading a shot during editing. Like, so your edit seems like it's being compressed. The only thing I could think of is basically, if you're shooting, let's say you're shooting 4K and you bring your clip into a 1920 by 1080 sequence, then you can actually pull out and you're giving yourself the ability to push into it. But if you shot it at like 1080 and you were in a 4K sequence, it could look compressed because the clip that you shot is actually smaller than what the sequence is. So that could be an issue. So just always make sure that your sequence settings match the clip that you shot. And if you can, shoot in a higher resolution so that you have the ability to punch in. Sorry, I know that was a really long answer, but I'm not sure what the question was.
But it's always helpful to know. Okay, right. So here I was asking my brother, like, do I look cute sleeping? I was like, just be honest, do I look good? He's like, yeah, shut up. So this was us. Oh my God, did you see that? I don't know what happened.
It looks like a cozy little setup.
It is. I love my room. My room is the best. It's my favorite place. My bed especially. I love sleeping. Okay, so that's me. Okay. And now I think I'm just gonna put that, and I was really thinking that a cross dissolve to black would be so cool, like just for the end, like.
Okay. Good night.
So I wanted to show that because I know we don't have a lot of time left. But so basically now we have the whole sequence here of me doing everything I wanted to do, and this video is a little bit longer. So I think now what I would do, if I had more time, but I'm gonna do after, is just go over all these clips. We can kind of look here at how it's looking and just make everything fast paced. Like some things don't need to be as long as they are. And that's exactly what I plan to do. And also I wanted to add kind of like the time. I have an icon for the time, kind of like we did with the other one that we have for, I don't know where I put it actually, stocks, audio, no sounds, nighttime routine. I have a voice recording where I kind of like say step by step what I'm doing. So maybe we could add those now. I don't know. I don't think we have much time. Let's do that actually. Yeah,
you have about 5 minutes. So if you, whatever way you want to use those last 5 minutes, I am on the ride.
Perfect. So let's do that, I think. So that's me talking. I tried to do one long audio with everything I was doing, but it was not working. So I did it little by little. So that's step 1, 2, and 3. So we can hear and kind of like put it on the video. First, I closed my computer and put it away for the next day. Okay, that was not nice to. Sometimes like listening to yourself it's not the most fun.
It's a little weird.
Yes, but it's something you get used to. So I'm just gonna put it here, And oh, we can show this really fast effects. So like I said before, I don't really love this shot from like the plants. I get the creativity behind it, but it's not my fave. But I like how it looks like maybe to start. So what I'm gonna do here is go for an effect blur, Gaussian blur. I'm just gonna put it here, and we can do keyframes again. So Gaussian blur is to see 0 here, so I'm just gonna put a keyframe so it's still 0, but at the beginning I want it to be a little bit higher. So maybe like 20. No, that's too little. 50. I like that. Maybe more. 70. That's good. So it starts like this, kind of like focuses and then goes into another scene.
Cool.
So I thought that would be something cool to add. And I'm thinking that should we go into the other video, try to render that?
Yeah, let's
maybe show it, like have a final like.
Sure. Let's end on that. Let's go back into that one because we got about 5 minutes. So let's render and play it back. And we can end on that note.
Yes, that's I thought it would be nice to have something like finished to show. And I'm just saving here in case it crashes. Because rendering, our computers don't like rendering. Sequence, render in and out. Okay.
I think I have faith. I think you're gonna be good.
I think so too.
Ooh,
I think it's gonna be fine. It's gonna be slow, but it's gonna be fine.
I've been so used to it'll pick up. I've been so used to rendering on the MacBook One or the MacBook M1 Pro. That's the new laptop that we just got. And for the longest time I was not using a machine like this. And so the render times of like After Effects of Premiere just fly through anything. Like I shoot a lot of footage for clients and for my professional work on a cinema camera, and the file sizes are enormous. And my old computer, I had to create proxy files for everything and wait like 3 hours. And then, and now I brought clips into it yesterday, and in 2 seconds, the whole thing was already rendered. So
that's amazing.
Having a machine like that, I will say, definitely helps. So
that's so cool. Like it really, I think that computers sometimes do suffer, but having a good computer makes a difference.
It really does.
And
let's see here.
It is doing what it has to do, so it's taking a little bit longer. And I use proxy files sometimes as well. I think that's something cool to tell the people who are watching us. Maybe you can explain what proxy files are, because I had a lot of people ask me that on my TikTok.
Yeah, it's a little harder to explain it than it is to show it, but I have mentioned that in a couple other streams. But in this case, proxy files probably wouldn't be necessary for iPhone footage, but you're essentially creating like a lower res, like dummy or copy of the footage that Premiere sees as the working clip. That way it doesn't have to actually take up all your memory on your computer with the full res clip. And it's a very simple way to do it. And I think there's been some other tutorials and videos we've done here on Adobe Live that we talked about. So again, if you're on Behance right now, head over to our YouTube channel, Adobe Creative Cloud, and you can find all sorts of nuggets there.
Amazing.
I don't know if we're going to have enough time to render the whole thing here.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Maybe I can cancel it and just watch what has been rendered so far.
Yeah, let's cancel it and let's watch back a little bit. Again, whatever we don't get to will be on TikTok, so we can watch it there. Yes. But I would cancel it. We got about 2 minutes left.
Yeah, and I realized that we didn't really change the effects we put on on a few of the text. It's not going to be on all of them. That's not a mistake. We just did not have time for that. But let's watch this.
Yeah, let's watch the first like minute or two back before we wrap up here.
So, oh my god. Okay. Flat control. So we're gonna go right to the beginning. I think it rendered like 30 seconds, but that's good. That's good enough. So this, I'm just gonna make it bigger so we can enjoy it better, like in the movies. Okay, let's play it. So I just finished working for the day, so I thought I would just take myself on a cute little date. I've always wanted to do something that I do just by myself. I feel like if I don't go with someone else, I just don't go at all. But I've really been trying to get out of my comfort zone and just do things that I enjoy. know if I'll talk to a camera in public. I might just pretend I'm on FaceTime. So I just got my food. I'm gonna go to the pier to eat it.
I'm gonna stop you there, Camilla, just because we're running out of time here. But
Yes.
I love how it turned out. It looks so good, so good, and the vibes are just on point and very positive and upbeat. So thank you so much for joining us today and yesterday and taking us through your process. We really appreciate it, and can't wait to see the final video on TikTok. Again, for those that joined the chat, thank you for being a part of Adobe Live for day 2. And a quick little housekeeping, stay tuned for the creative encore of the Premiere Creative Challenge with Fabiola Lara right after the stream, followed by a new episode of Graphic Glow Up with Voodoo Val. And Adobe Live will be back tomorrow at 8 a.m. Pacific time for a new episode of Brush Hour with Adobe evangelist Kyle T. Webster. So thank you so much, Camila, and good luck in your future endeavors. I'm super excited to see your journey.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone who came to watch me, at least for a little bit. Thank you so much, James. You are the amazing host. And also thank you so much, Paco, who is behind this, kind of setting everything up.
Perfect.
So thank you.
Thank you,
have
guys.
a great day, everyone. Bye.
Take care, everyone.